page is 24,000 plus members. Our national, if you add up all four of our chapters, we're pushing just over 100,000 members. We're one of the largest nonprofit like this. As you see, do a little bit of everything. We've got guys that do fishing only, guys who do hunting only. We've got a team that does geocaching, if anybody knows what that is. We also have a team on the west side. They're called the Iron Riders. They do a 22-day, 22 miles a day awareness for the suicide rate. And they ride bikes or stationary bikes. Every day, 22 miles. They get sponsors, people donate for every day to raise awareness. We've got teams in 49 of the 50 states. We're in all 50 states. Just a couple states are super small and don't have a lot of members. For me, I'm the Eastern Washington coordinator, so I have from the Cascade Mountains to about 80 miles into Montana, and from the Canadian border all the way down to the Oregon border and across. So I've got all the panhandle of Idaho into Montana. I work at the VA hospital, so I was able to reach out. And if you take the Spokane to 150 mile circle from Spokane, there's over 10,000 veterans in the area. So we're trying to reach out. That's just veterans that the hospital knows about. So what we're trying to do is to reach out to all the veterans to get them involved. We do it mostly for therapeutical reasons. Guys that have PTSD and traumatic brain injuries, we try and get them, it gets them out and gets them involved in it. I'm originally from the west side of the state. About 7 years ago, I did a little event, took about 5 guys out salmon fishing on a creek. I had one member, all I could get out of him the whole day was, okay, yeah, okay. That attitude all day. We get all done, I flay all these guys' fish for him, and he stands around and he waits for everybody to leave. I said, "You okay, man?" He goes, "Thank you." He goes, "I haven't been out of my house in 3 years. I suffer from PTSD, TBI." He goes, "The VA's got me so medicated on medication that I don't know what to do. You got me out here and got me out of my dark place." I ended up taking that guy out 5 more times that summer. And he went back to his doctor at the VA, says, "I want to get off this medication because it's not working. I met a guy, he got me in the outdoors. That's what I want to do." And the VA's like changed all his stuff. And now he's functional. Part of the thing he was telling me, he said he'd sit there and take 10 to 15 pills a day and drink a half gallon of whiskey every day, just to keep the bad thoughts out of his head. But I was able to reach out to this guy and change his life to the better. And that's what we focus on, is trying to get those veterans and active duty guys that are suffering from that and get them out doing something. We've got an event next weekend over in Hayden Lake. I'm taking 15 veterans out. I've got some guys that donated boats, so we're gonna go out and catch fish. My partner Victor was out there this morning with 6 for 10 in Kokanee. One of our guides fishes for pike. They just got this new state record pike out of Hayden Lake last month. It was 42 pounds, 49 inches long, 26 inches around.
So it's wow.
It's huge. And one of my guides, that's all he fishes for. So he's gonna take the guys that want to go fishing for these big pike. He's all set up for him. We're doing an event July 22nd in Brewster So just about a week after Tony's. We did it last year. We took 54 veterans out in active duty, caught 167 sockeye. We're doing it again this year. Me and my partner said, okay, 75 vets, that's pretty good. About 2 weeks before the Bighorn Show, my boss on the west side called me up and says, no, I think we're gonna take 100 guys out, so get some more boats. So we're shooting to take 100 veterans out on July 22nd. And then September, we're trying to squeeze a trip in September for sturgeon on the upper river here on Lake Roosevelt. But we're just trying to get it in between turkey, archery, and modern, because our great state decided to open a sturgeon season at the same time that spring or fall turkey starts to the end of November, which is the end of archery season. So we're trying to get a trip in there somewhere, but next year we're shooting for 5 big trips. Hayden Lake again, another Roosevelt Lake, another Brewster, and a couple other small. We have access to several private properties that landowners have donated to us since we've catered towards the veterans, and some of them are specific on what they want. They want people in wheelchairs, disabled. They prefer, that's their top priority. I got a guide service that's giving us 5 trips next year for turkey, all expense paid, 3 day, 2 night. And the only criteria is disabled. So we'll be working with you guys. YJ, yeah, he gave us 5. It's all expense, hotel, food, everything. I have a taxidermist in Old Town on that one. She is donating free taxidermists for the turkeys. If you want to do your fan, like you see in the hallway there, that's for free. And if you want to do a full body, she'll give you a discount, 50% discount on your mount. My boss is her husband, so we're, they're both veterans, and she wants to get back to us to where what we do. So she's like, okay, this is what I'll do. So yeah, we got Facebook. I've got an email address set up, so those that don't do Facebook can email me directly to ask any questions. Most of our trips are put out on Facebook, but for the ones that don't do, email me, and on all the trips, I'll email you personally and let you know what's coming down the pipe. And if you want to get in on a trip, I'll put you in. So.
And you guys have a Facebook page that you can update events and.
Yeah, on our Facebook page, it's the West Coast page. And that's where we post all our events. My contact information will be on every post that I put up. Another thing we do on our national page is 25 days of Christmas. For every day, different members get on, post a video, give things away. This last 25 days of Christmas, I did 8 giveaways. Duck hunt with Chris, couple fishing trips, fishing lures. I had guys donate stuff to me. You donated a brand new pair of work boots. I got them given away. Yeah, it's our big thing. And then we do a banquet. Last year was a virtual banquet because of all the COVID, everything we did virtual. But we're going to get back into doing a live banquet, and that's where we get a lot of our fundraisers from. We do the Bighorn Show. This year was our first year, and we sell T-shirts and hats and beanies and sweatshirts and stickers. That's another way we raise money for getting these guys out of the cost. So. Any questions?
Did you have a question?
That was my question, how you raise funds.
Yeah, we have people that donate, money, trips, whatever they'll call one of us, either me or my team lead on the other side, and say, this is what I got. Our Hayden event that we're doing next week, the guy's called the Idaho Fisherman. He's a guide on Priest Lake and, Porter Lane Lake, or Ponder Lake. And he did fundraiser, a raffle for a guided trip for him. He'd take up to 6 people out, and he raised us $500. And what he wants to do with that money is for our non-Idaho residents that are going on our Hayden event next week. He's gonna pay for their 3-day fishing license with the money. Our Brewster event, we've got a bunch of tackle shops around here that donated. I had a guy contact me. He makes custom sunglasses and shooting glasses. They're about $200 to $300 a pop. And he's like, hey, I want to give you guys some glasses. I mean, how many people are you planning on doing? I said, well, we're shooting for 100. He goes, well, I can't do 100 pair. I said, I'll take 10. Well, I get this box in, my partner got it, send me a picture. It's 30 pairs of this guy's sunglasses that average $250 a piece. And I'm like, I was expecting 10, not 30. So these are shooting glasses, some are polarized fishing glasses. It was crazy. I was just like, that's more than I was expecting, so. But any other questions?
All right.
Good.
Thanks, John.
Ah, no problem. Great job.
Get to the next slide, I want to bring up something, it was fairly new development for us. And it was from our ability to network with other people during the Bighorn Show. Snowy River Ranch out by Chattaroy has donated their property to turkey hunters with disabilities. They got a lot of turkey on this property. Every time we've driven up to the property, the first time I went out first to take a look at it. And the second time I went out, we put up some blinds, and then this past week, Craig and I went out and we put up another blind. Turkey everywhere. And we put 4 blinds out there for hunters. And it's a reservation system, because it's private land and, him and his wife still like their privacy. They're only opening it up on 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's because it's not a very huge piece, that we're limiting it to 3 hunters per day. And I will provide, I can get it on here somehow. This is my computer. Bookings. I'll come up, see me afterwards, I'll have something for you. Here's what it is. You go out to the place, you park, you can walk out to either one of the blinds. The one that's blind number 2, which is right off a road surface, we're gonna kind of save that for guys in chairs. Guys, youth, women, it doesn't matter. But you gotta be disabled. The only thing the owner requires is that if you're successful, you stop at the house, check in with them and show them your kill. Number 1, he wants to reduce the turkey population on his property, but he wants to balance it with his need for privacy as well. And he just got thrown off his mule last week and had fractured his neck, so his wife will probably answer the door, not him. He's still laid up. He might be a little loopy on medication, you know how that happens.
All right, there's a bunch of turkey out there. When we were out there setting up the first blinds, it was like, we'd pull in and they just come across and they're like 3 toms and they just fanning and trucking.
The first blind you can see from the owner's front door, and when she came out and talked to me the other day, she said, you should put one right over there, see where those turkeys are? I said, there is a blind right there, and if I was in that blind, that turkey would be dead. I mean, and the toms out there, it's full beards, it's pretty nice looking toms out there.
We were talking to them too.
Turkey whisperer.
We've got about 15 times in our neighborhood.
See, I'm not a turkey hunter. My thing is just kill them all.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, access angling. I know you probably never heard of this before. This is something we trying to get started this past winter, and we're trying to get volunteer skippers. John's volunteered his boat, Chris has volunteered. We're looking at anybody who has a boat that either can or cannot host a wheelchair. At least you can host maybe somebody disabled or somebody who can go from a chair and get onto the boat without it. Chris has rigged up a pretty neat, I'll let you talk more about that when you get up here. But this is a system where we're not reaching out to guys who, they need something in return for their investment. These are just volunteer guys with boats who want to take somebody out on the water who otherwise probably wouldn't have the opportunity. So if you're a boat owner and you want to be part of this, see me, contact me, send me an email. I need to know how big your boat is. I don't care what brand it is, just as long as it's Coast Guard safe and everything. How many people can you host? Can you host a wheelchair? You need a wheelchair with somebody to assist, blah, blah, blah. And then what waters or species do you target most? And then leave it up. And once I put it on the website, on our Facebook page, then when you check in your page, and so let's say Chris says, I got an open date on this day for disabled guys. If you see that, then you'll leave it up to you to contact Chris. It could be anybody else for any other water species that's that. Okay. I'm hoping this becomes something that will grow and we get more guys with boats taking multiple people out multiple times a year. I think it's a great idea, not because I came up with it, but there's a need. And a lot of the stuff we do here at the council aims towards fishing as far as disabled access goes. And I just thought, why aren't we doing something for people who want to fish?
You said hunting.
Hunting fish.
Love it.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Or like I said, I'd probably just sit down and let you finish.
I gotta tell you, that was a really good little pipe from that small night.
Yeah, small enough. This was his first sturgeon. Prior to this, he was a sturgeon virgin, and because of our connection with Northwest Fishing, the TV show, and Kilgore Outdoors, they were able to hook us up, and Z and I got to spend a weekend, third weekend in May last year, right before Memorial Day weekend, down in Hell's Canyon with these guys. It was a great weekend. I mean, I didn't get my sturgeon. He got his, and one other person got theirs, but just being in Hell's Canyon, going through the rapids, that was a blast.
That's some really cool pictures when somebody was at the back of the boat going through the rapids and wasn't ready for what came over the front of the boat.
Water.
Of course.
The Maribel guys.
Let's see. I just talked about the place out there turkey hunting. And this is why it's called Snowy River Ranch. He's got a place in Montana. When he was hunting a couple of years ago there, he got to a spot where he looked down in the valley. You could see a beautiful herd of elk, some really nice bulls. And he saw other hunters on across the valley on the other side on top. He decided he better take his shot and get down there before they did. So this was him going down the hill, just like that scene in the movie where the horse is going almost straight down. And that's what he did with his horse. Just telling his wife the story afterwards. She goes, now I know what to call that place out in Washington. We're going to call it the Snowy River Ranch. And so that's the name of that place I was talking to you about out there. But once I get that URL for you, I should have had it on here. Here's a picture of the property. All right. Chris, why don't you come up and talk about stand-up before we finish?
All right. All right, well, most of you guys that are in the room, you haven't met me before, I haven't been to the Big Horn Show. My name's Chris Cooper. I live in Springdale. If you guys don't know where Springdale is, past Loon Lake, north of Deer Park area, right? And so I'm one of the pro staffers for John, for the Fallen Outdoors. But before I did that, I had my own thing called Team Rough Road Ranch or Project Stand Up. Basically how it works is I couldn't sit in every tree stand at one time. So I just sat there. I said, well, man, I'm wasting corn at this stand, or I'm wasting time at this one. So I set up tree stands and ground blinds for veterans to come out and hunt in 100% for free. I mean, Ken's been out there. Some of the other guys, they come out there and did a camp last year, right? They come out, they sit in a tree stand, ground blind for free. Everything is donated, the corn, or the alfalfa, the pumpkin, everything's baited, they just come do it for free. The cameras are already set up. So if you come out and you want access, you want to go sit somewhere, then what ends up happening is I give you, if you want it, the password to all my cell cameras. And then you get to go out and you get to see everything that's coming in. So you're just as excited as I am. So, well, I mean, some of these bucks out there, they're substantial. The elk out there, they're pretty big when they come in, depending on the year, right? And so that's kind of the gist of Project Stand Up. But where this really takes off is I run about six tree stands, right? Plus ground blinds. You just show up, I have cabins, or I have a big travel trailer on one. I have one cabin that I won from the Wildlife Council. My daughter usually stays in it right now, until we get the other one up and running. And then, Bill, Spalding, he gave me a nice cab over camper. So everything's out there. You got hot water, you've got showers, you got beds, you got everything that you ever really want in a hunting camp. It's sitting there and it's free. Or you can bring your own RV camp or whatever, just come there. You can bring your side-by-side out there and do whatever you want. I'm not a guide. So a lot of people, hey, you guide. No, I'll go scout everything for you. Because I'm more than likely, I'm hunting too, right? I'm hunting at the same time. But I usually archery hunt. That's just my forte. I'll hunt early in the year when it's blazing hot, and I'll hunt when it's super cold, when no one else wants to be out there. Everything in between belongs to whoever else, right? Unless they would be out there with me, right? So that's basically how Project Stand Up works. You just get a hold of me, say, hey, I want to make it for this date, and that date, and I'll make it happen. If you're in a wheelchair, I have the lines that you can go sit in and perfect, boop, you just pull in, there you go. That's Project Stand Up in a nutshell. They were talking about my boat, my pontoon boat. Disabled hunting for me really kind of, then I'm 100% VA disability, and I was at the VA and around a lot more disabled people. It really kind of like hit home. So I said, how else can I help? So I turned my pontoon boat into, if you will, a tow truck. I have a winch with they've seen it. I have a winch that's on one side of my pontoon boat. On the outside of the other side is the roller, and I have long ramps. Well, what's the problem around here? If you like to fish in these lakes, how do you get someone in a wheelchair onto a boat? Unless you pick them up, or they can actually climb up a ladder or anything like, how is it gonna work, right? There's a lot of places don't have docks, and if they do, there's, the water level's low or dock's really high, the shore is kind of off, how are you gonna do it? Well, what's the safest way to do to bridge that gap? Load them when they're on the trailer. When the boat's on the trailer, then just launch the boat, with it secured. Ken's fished on my boat before. We went to Rock Lake. If you try to Rock Lake, you just get a hold of me and let me know where you want to go, when you want to go there. 9 times out of 10, I mean, I've already fished that fishery before you've asked, and we're just going. I mean, Ken, when I went with Ken and his son Kyle, I mean, it was slow for a while, and we actually crushed the track.
Yep.
The big track. So, this year, we're gonna be at the Brewster Pool, the Brewster event with the pontoon boat, and my boat is gonna be dedicated for disabled people only. So there's no excuse, like you can make it to the Brewster event and you're a veteran and you want to salmon fish, my boat's gonna be sitting there. Like I can put 2 wheelchairs on the boat plus another person and me, right? My boat's got double down riggers and I've got the works on my boat to be able to fish, right? On top of Project Stand Up and the ability to fish out of the boat, right? When I had my head shoulder surgery through the VA, and I'm always trying to think ahead for how can I help the next person, right? So on top of everything else, I just started networking. I can only do it one-handed, right? So I started networking, and I have over 1 million acres of private land through all my connections throughout the United States. There's not a state in the United States, exception of Hawaii, that you can't call me up and be like, hey, I'm thinking about going here. Okay, I know somebody somewhere, typically it's got private land in it or a boat that'll take you hunting, fishing, wherever you are. That's Project Stand Up. A lot of these landowners, they got on it, or they're veterans I served with, and they're like, oh yeah, that's an awesome idea. And so they throw up 1, 2 tree stands, ground blinds, right, on their property and throw it up somewhere. They'll take you out and do it for free. So Project Stand Up right here in Springdale, super, well, I mean, I'll give you an example. I have 7 veterans at the house right now. Open day turkey season. We've got 4 columns on the ground right now. I mean, I didn't really check my phone too much. Somebody even had more than right? They came out and stayed last night and no big deal. Oh, the duck line. That's the next thing. They were talking about the access thing. They donated, the Wildlife Council here donated one of the wheelchair platforms that they showed earlier, right? So they donated to me, and what the intent was, off of the man cave that I want here. Vets were gonna stay there. If you're handicapped or disabled, you could wheel up there, you could turn right to the platform, and then you could shoot off the deck right out to the food plot, right? Well, that didn't end up working out, you know, whatever reason, my daughter ended up having to stay in the cabin. So the platform sat there. Well, then I got access to the most coveted waterfowl property around up north. And I say coveted. We hunted it. I hunted it with 4 veterans for an hour and 15 minutes last year before the freeze. We limited out on ducks and geese in an hour and 15 minutes. And then we were done and it froze, right? And it just so happens, not only do I have 1 landowner there, I have 2 now. And then at the very end of this pond, or this giant slough, right, where we put in the duck line, the guy that owns the hay field at the end, where all the geese eat on year round, gave us permission. Because of my networking, he's the semi truck company, Canfield Trucking. I loaded at the mill where I work. So, you know, I'm always networking through people. So that's one of these big things, like a Bighorn show or meeting everybody that's here. Hey, how can I connect and get from point A to point B with people? You know, sometimes it's hard to do by yourself, but through the fallen outdoors, I mean, it's really opened a lot more avenues to network with more people through the Wildlife Council. Another thing that we just did, if you look back there, there's a bunch of fishing poles through Operation Catching Freedom, right? I put out feelers, said, hey, Tony, can you help us out? There's a Lucky Duck Pond in Springdale for youth, right? A lot of places, people up in Springdale, Ford, and that region, there's a lot of kids, they're not very well off, right? Or they don't have somebody to actually hold their hand and show them what to do, how to do it. Well, I talked to the mayor because I coached her kid for wrestling, right? And I said, hey, what if we donate a bunch of fishing poles to town hall and kids can go check them out from town hall? Well, there's fishing poles. One thing, if you guys get to know me, and John knows this too, I'm a big believer in don't talk about it, be about it, right? A lot of people, they want to attend. That's another thing about Project Stand Up and where I live and what I do is, as a veteran, it really boils down to veteran suicide. You'll see online people do 22 push-ups a day, or you'll see people run slideshows. They talk about mental health, right? But for me, I give somebody a place, a hard place to come relieve, to rip the Band-Aid off. Whether you shoot something or you harvest something or you want to go fishing, whatever it is. Hey, bring veterans, people that are like-minded, your vet, disabled youth, or first responder, bring people together. They can really rip the Band-Aid off, and that camaraderie really helps people vent and get that feeler out. Like this year, we did the February 4th waterfowl hunt for ducks down in Mesa for Fallen Outdoors, the veteran hunt. And everybody that was there, with the exception of me, was first Special Forces group. I was in special operations myself and the Army, but everybody there was active duty. And so one of the points I drove home was what I just said. I want you to think about how stressful your life is when you're at work, when you're special forces. Now, when you're coming out here, how do you feel right now? Like you're in this moment shooting ducks, how are you feeling? Because a lot of times it gets overlooked, right? Like everything's going on, you're in outdoors, whether you're hunting or fishing. How do you feel right now? Do you feel better when you're doing this? Well, you should probably do it more often. So rip the Band-Aid off. So Project Stand Up, it's available for anybody and everybody. Whoever we network with, they can come out. Now, as far as donations are concerned, I'm a pro staffer, I fall under the fallen outdoors, right? And when it comes to like money, things like that, when I do events, I will post them on the Fallen Outdoors West Coast Facebook page, or I'll get a hold of somebody else, like Wildlife Council, and I'll let everybody know. All I've ever asked from somebody is pay it forward to the next guy. So whether that is somebody comes out and brings a bag of corn, right? The bag of corn that we can set up, so when they leave, the next person can hunt that same blind, right? Or if you want to come out and help build, right now we've got to build the walkway and the ramp to the duck blind. On this pond, we took one of those ramps from here, turned it sideways, so you can put 2 wheelchairs on it. And now we're able to waterfowl hunt. So and that's right here. There's really no excuse, like I said, there's none. I mean, if you want a morel, also, if you want a morel mushroom pick, out where I live, coming up, there are so many morels. I mean, you get 5-gallon buckets full of them. So, any questions about anything like that? Like I said, if you want to come out, want to hunt, want to fish, I do any type of fishing that I can possibly get my pontoon boat into, I'll do. I can launch it anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's a hard ramp. I can set the pontoon boat on the ground with the type of trailer it is and pull the trailer out and then pick it back up off the ground. So.
If you can launch at Rock Lake, you can launch.
Yeah, I can launch at Rock Lake. I can do whatever. And again, don't hesitate to contact me. I have a list right now as far as turkey is concerned. Next weekend through another nonprofit, the Military Sportsmen of America. They're gonna come out. They have a raffle from Wisconsin, guy from Wisconsin, one from Minnesota, that are coming out to do turkey hunts. They wanted to come out. I seen 58 toms on my driveway, like 3 weeks ago? And the weather was crappy. This morning, guys went out and I went out and I told them where the roosting trees were, and I said, go hunt it however you want to hunt it. If you need me to go out, I will, but I don't have to, right? They went out, came back, 4 birds on the ground this morning. And that was before I even left by 10 o'clock, right? So, yeah, if there's any, and then I just picked up another 80-acre piece that's never been hunted. So if you're into archery hunting, and it's next to the, City of Springdale has a big hay field that's private, right? That they use to cut hay, to pay bills and stuff. And next to it, that person doesn't hunt. But the board of property that I'm talking about, 80 acres, borders that, has its own pond. And on the other side of that is a game preserve, dead in the middle. It's archery only because it's technically in city limits. So we have that. I have another landowner, if you want a turkey hunt, right now lives 10 minutes from me. She has probably 500 turkeys in her cow pasture. Right? So she's like, just come out, just don't shoot my cows. That's all she said. Don't plug one of my cows. So, and I'll do anything and everything. Bear hunts. Heck, I had a bear crawl up in the tree stand last year, right? So I do everything from like Sherman, like 101, all the way down fishing trips down to Rock Lake or anywhere and everywhere. This year, we're gonna do bow fishing trips. So if you know anybody who wants to bow fish, I got several of those. We're gonna get after it. I'm that one of those true guys that if you call me up and say, or get a hold of me and say, hey, I want to go do X. Well, I'll make it happen. You know, there is no. I don't believe in problems. There's only solutions in my book. Because I have nothing but time. When I get off work, if it means helping somebody else, I got nothing but time in my hands. So, is there any questions about anything?
Chris, are you 121 or 124?
I'm 121, 124, especially if you have grandkids, youth, right? It's literally right on the other side of the highway from me. I can see it. So when the rifle season opens for deer, they take a doe right there, like, and I have landowners right there that will be like, yeah, come over and plug it up. You know, just let me know in advance, like put up a blind or whatever before you go, or, tree stand. My requirements. You guys know anybody though, They're gonna come sit in a tree stand, not a ground blind, a tree stand. I only have 3 requirements for that. One, if you're able-bodied, disabled vet, first responder, whatever. If you're going to climb in a tree stand, you'll have a harness. I can't make you wear it, but you'll at least have to show me a harness, I can give you a harness, right? Number 2, archery hunting, you have to use a Luminox, lighted Nox, have to. That's, I don't like tracking deer, neither do you, but if I have to, I need to up our odds, right? And number 3, I make everybody shoot 3 shots sitting down at 30 yards, because all my bait sites are at 30 yards. I mean, it's a chip shot with a bow, right? 30 yards, and they gotta do a 1-inch group with 3 arrows. That's my check. So 3 arrows, 30 yards, Luminox, and you'll have at least a harness with you. Whether you wear it or not, that's on you. I can't make somebody do it. But at least I know my conscience is clear. And there's tie-ins up above them on all the stands. So there's really, they fall out. They fell asleep in it. I can't help them. You lead a horse with water, can't make a drink, right? So, but yeah, and you get after it, you know? Heck, there must be right now on this pond around the corner from me, and Kate can attest, within 2 miles of my front door, there is almost every big game that you can imagine there. If you got the time and the patience to want to be there, there's everything that you could possibly want. I mean, it's literally from my front door within 2 miles. If you want a corner hop, which, you know, I got permission from 2 Johns to actually use that gate now to back gate of the property.
Yeah.
So then you can technically go 8 miles one way. So 16-mile round trip straight from the house. And depending on time of year, you're not even gonna see another soul. Just you or whoever you take with you. So, any questions about anything? So contact me. I'll give you my phone number if you guys want it right now. Or if you guys got private land as well, let me know. I must have 200 plus people a year contact me, and that's years past. And I have typically done rifle hunting. This year I'm gonna do waterfowl, but unless you guys, whoever you want, gonna do rifle hunting with me. It's my
Like this place is called
Yeah.
Buff Road Ranch.
Team Rough Road Ranch, because it hasn't been, my road hasn't been graded in 30 years. So some of the things we do need, many hands make light work. So again, I gotta put in the ramp, the long ramp, the landowner for the duck blind on the pond. He has, he's got a tractor, he's got an excavator, stuff like that, so we can make that happen. But I need hands to be able to do so and make it like an ADA actually approved walkway. The ramp's already down there, by the way. I already put the actual platform down there on the cinder blocks. So, we're good to go there. I'm just trying to get ahead of the October rush. Just so you know, October timeframe. September. August 1st, you can start taking 2 bears this side of the state, right?
Right.
Follow my logic here. September 1st, if you're an archery hunter, whitetail deer opens up archery. The 3rd through the 8th, early goose opens up. And I believe last year you could take 5 geese per day, right? Then that second weekend, early archery elk opens up. Which also, that means like cougar, bear, everything, plus turkey opens up right there, right, coming up. And then I believe grouse opens up somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
So you, within that September timeframe, if you came out and you were an archery hunter and brought a shotgun, oh, I didn't get a deer today. Can we go waterfowl hunting? You know what I mean? Like vice versa. Or you want to go shoot your geese, your limited geese in the morning time, and then you go archery hunting in the evenings, right? Nothing to stop you, right? There's nothing to stop you. So there's big things are coming up here in the future. I might just have to like quit my job and just do this full time. I got 100% VA disability. Well, mainly because I just want to hunt and fish all the time. Let's be honest, who doesn't? So,
Chris, what part of Springdale do you live in?
I live on, Cemetery Road,
Okay,
so right as you're, before you hit Reservation Road.
Yeah.
So I'm out there. If you guys have social media, Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, you look for me on Team Rough Road Ranch, all one word, Team Rough Road Ranch 1. That's me on Instagram.
One, the number or one?
One, like as in the number, 1. I'm also on the Fallen Outdoors West Coast page all the time, so. Nope, just one. Just one. Yeah, that's Team Rough Road Ranch 1. So, any questions about anything?
how do I get set up for nothing?
What do you want to do? Archery or rifle?
Rifle
You just contact me. Just contact me, let me know, and I'll get you hooked up.
and a door, I'd like to get a door.
Well, you're 65 and older, right?
Pardon me?
You're 65 and older? Right there,
Are
boom.
you assuming he's old?
Hey, I mean, listen, I'm not exactly getting any younger right here myself.
I think I'd be 77 this year, so.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I pulled my sciatic nerve. I've been walking around with limp, so. But yeah, no, that's totally doable because it's a chip shot right there. Anything else? Any questions? All right, well, I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys letting me talk. And if you ever want to donate anything, just let me know, or you got time, or you know somebody's got resources, right? I mean, supplies are huge because all the supplies that you give me go directly towards supporting these veterans or first responders or disabled youth that come out, whether that is helping build the platforms, the decks, whether that's helping shore up, like making hard blinds or whatever it is, right? Or, hard supplies they go a long way. I don't take money or anything like that. I much prefer donate a supply, or if you have a connection to another landowner, that's more valuable to me than money because I can help other people, right? That's more avenues to help other people. So, all right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for letting me talk.
It's that time. Get your tickets out. This is the last part of the day, unless you're able to help put chairs away. Now, since my ticket is not in here, you guys have a problem with me doing the drawing? Because I'm not gonna be drawing for me, so if everybody else has a ticket in here. Gotta separate those two. Okay. Last 4 numbers. 3602. Is that yes or bad?
Bad. I never will.
Who's got 3602?
Whoever walked in before me.
Somebody who's already left. Wonder if it was Spence or Deb.
Do you have the attendance list?
I would have what?
I'm trying.
All right, ready? The last 3605.
You after me, look on this.
Oh, they on it.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, that would be my wife or Joe Carpenter. Joe